Hello, hello. Just waiting for seeing who shows up out there. Got 4 people joining us out there. Getting some feedback here. Let me go shut that one down. Hey, we got 6 people hopping in here, so I don't know who's showing up, but I want to do something completely different. Looking for a little change of pace, so I fired up my 5-year franchise file I hadn't worked on since December, and I thought, hey, I'm going to fire up some gameplay. I'm going to get um, the gameplay setup. I've got 2023 here that I got several months ago when it came out. I haven't done really anything. I've run some auto plays, team versus team, just to look at some of the results, but I haven't just sat down and played a game. So I've got a few of the teams that have all the photo packs done, and I started going to the Action PC Sports community and downloading. Hey, Bernard, and downloading some of the stadiums that they have for the football games. So, like I've done with baseball, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get to these stadiums. Can I get the resolution so that they show on my screen better? All that good stuff. So what I did is I downloaded a few of those, and now I've got a couple set up here. I'm going to do just a demo game. I may learn something from those of you that pop in here while I play this, but I'm going to do an early 70s game. I've got photo packs for the early 70s Dolphins, the Vikings, the mid 70s Steelers, and the Raiders. And I've got a really cool 1972 uh, football stadium pack that somebody, I can't remember the name, posted on the Action PC Sports community with really good resolution. I even enhanced it a little bit through Topaz. And now I have those files, and it looks really nice on the screen. And then I was playing around with some of the game settings, whether I've seen some people play vertical. I've got it on horizontal and then have it expanded the full screen for the video chalkboard. So I'm going to highlight some of that and just go through a game. And I downloaded a little clip from NFL Films, the Raiders theme from NFL Films music, and messed around with how I can add some custom sounds and different things in the game. So going to fire that up now. And as you can see here, I've got go under roster. These are the teams that haven't added any new ones. In fact, if you can see here, I started adding some more modern teams. I've got a 2008 to 12 Baltimore. And again, this is similar to my baseball project and basketball, where I took a franchise's, a good 5-year run for them. And then I took players that played at least 2 consecutive years during that and picked their best 2 consecutive years and carded them. Takes a lot of time to do these, only because you're doing 50-ish players on a team, but I've got quite a few done here and quite a few more to go. Of course, I started with some of the 70s and 80s teams, and even the 60s. I'm going to work my way into the more recent teams, and we'll just pull up the Raiders that I'm going to fire up here, and you can see I've got player photos for all the players here. And let's see, we can pull up Mark Van Egan. There's Van Egan's card. Created these photo cards, kind of following that same format, decided to put a logo. I may change this and actually maybe put the logo down along with the name, something like that. I'm not sure what I want to do in the future, because I have a lot of fun with those as well. So we're going to play a game with this team. So I'm going to set up exhibition. We'll put Oakland at home. And then I don't know. I think I might want to bring in 72 Miami. And what's nice is I've got it set up for the 1972 field, and I have the rules to have the goalpost on the goal line. So let's do that. I think I'm going to I'll take Miami. I'll let the computer control the Raiders. I'll give them their home field advantage. And, it looks like a nice day. See what we get. You can see I'm not going to worry about the roster limits. Say ready. This is my background music I've got loaded into the game. Plays while you look at this opening forecast screen. Then when I hit the coin toss, it cuts from that music. So I guess it would have played as long as I kept it at that screen. So here we go. Here is the toss. And Miami, I think I'm going to go ahead and kick deep.
Welcome to Oakland Alameda COL. Yepremian to kick off. Fielded by Garrett. 22-yard return. The kick from Yepremian is returned 22 yards by Garrett. Babb with the tackle.
So what I've got turned on here is when it goes into the video, I can choose to have a vertical screen and then kick to horizontal. I've got it set to this horizontal screen, and then when it goes to run the play, it just fills up full screen for that animation. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to enjoy the gameplay, and I have the options turned on. You can put on basic play calling, but I've got it on a little bit more advanced play calling here. Again, I don't claim to be any expert when it comes to the play calling here. Sometimes just to watch the game, it's fun just to go CPU. And let's do that for a little bit. You can also see I've got the player cards for the skill players choosing to show, and the nice thing now is you can hover over a player and get this card image. I think the same thing is going to be coming out in basketball. So let's run the CPU.
Stabler calls out the signals. Stabler with the give to Hubbard. Tackled by Fernandez at the 32. No gain. Hubbard with the carry, no gain. Fernandez on the tackle.
So I really like these. I forget who made it. I'd love to give them credit. I just can't remember it right now. They're all for 1972. So you'll notice they've got the goal line set, the field goal post set at the goal line. They're just really a high quality image. I enhanced it even more, but they come very high quality. So if you want to download some fields, they're really cool. Some of them that they have there are like 900 by like 300 and something size. And I'm running this 38-inch monitor. So when it expands it, it just looks a little low res to me. So like with the baseball images, I'm just playing around seeing how to get this set up and how I want to play it with the screen layout. The other thing I'm not going to do because I'm broadcasting is, but I could, you can set up a second monitor and run dual monitors. It's really cool with football because it moves a lot of other screens and information over on your second screen. But I'm going to leave it here on the main one for now.
2nd and 10 from the 32. Stabler sets up in the pocket. Short pass in the flat to Van Egan. Matheson pancakes him at the 43. First down. Tally of 11. Vela was injured on the play injury. Vela to the sideline. He'll be back a few plays.
So one thing I notice is when you let it run to the full screen.
Stabler passes to Van Egan, gain of 11, Matheson on the tackle, first down.
It does cover some of the play-by-play if you're going to try to read it over in this area. So yeah, just something to play around with. So I don't know if I like it zooming in. I kind of do because it's a nice looking field. I'm still trying to figure out if I like it zooming to a large screen animation or just keeping the animation on the field size that it is. Random human. Yeah, I agree. I think they should be too. I like the fact that you can see them, but I agree, like making them a little bit bigger would be kind of cool. So here we go. letting the CPU call
First
some
and 10
defense
from
for
the
me.
43. Stabler sets up in the pocket. Medium cross to Biletnikov. Return of 13 yards. Stabler is intercepted by Foley. Return of 13.
Oh, looks like a bad throw. Tip ball. Foley with the interception. So now I'm in business. So let's see what I want to do here. Of course, with this Miami team, if we take a look at let's look at the Miami roster. We can see skill player-wise, I've got Greasy and Earl Morrill here, but skill player-wise, again, these are based on their best 2 seasons. You know, deep running game here with Zonka, Morrison, Kick. Receivers, good offensive line. And so it's funny with the basketball or the football game. I've done so much with the custom teams and running computer versus computer game sims and checking stats and all that I haven't really sat down and dived into the gameplay and all the cool stuff that's out here when it comes to play analysis. So after they run a play, you can see what offense was called and what defense was, keys and stuff that they had picked up, and then they'll show you that play analysis and then the defensive call, how that impacted it, which is really neat because as I'm looking at that, you can see whether your defense call was one that was an advantage for you because you guessed right or put yourself in the right situation, or if it was the wrong call and maybe added to the percentages for the offense. So this is pretty cool. A lot of other options here where you can look at the line game here. We got stats. All kinds of different goodies here that we can pay attention to. So let's call a play here. Now let's try something right off the bat. They got to be thinking this is a run team, so how about coming out and maybe going to a medium pass, putting a little play action on that, and let's go after Nat Moore here. See what I can do with some play calling.
Greasy fades back to pass. Medium cross to Moore. Greasy throws incomplete to Moore. Thomas with the coverage.
Bernard, I agree with what you're saying right there. It doesn't have the same flow as baseball to like call a game. So what I find is I don't like this default narrator voice for baseball at all. And I'm not sure I like it for basketball. But for some odd reason, it sounds better in a football game. It doesn't bother me having the narrator on right now. All right, 2nd and 10. That was a dumb move. Let's just put it on the ground and see what we can do.
Give to Kasanka.
Kazanka
has an opening. Kasanka run. Atkinson with the tackle at the 33. A gain of 13.
There you go.
Kasanka with a gain of 13 on the play. Atkinson on the tackle. First down.
How about that Kazanka? So let's go to options, edit narrator. Let's type in Zonka and we can see he's going to
Kasanka.
We just call it Zonka.
Zonka.
There you go. We remedied that. So it's really cool to go in here while you're playing. If they've got it sounding a little weird, you can go in there and phonetically put something in there that makes it sound like the player. So there we go. Let the CPU call a play here since I got a first down running.
1st and 10 from the 33. Greasy calls out the signals. Reverse to Moore.
Wow.
Tackled by Atkinson at the 28. A gain of 5. Moore on the reverse, gain of 5. Atkinson on the tackle.
Computer coach getting cute with the reverse. So what do we got here? 2nd and 5. Hey, let's keep it on the ground. How about just a straight dive? Send Morris in there.
Greasy gives to Zonka. Tackled by Sistrunk at the 22. First down. A gain of 6. Zonka on the carry, gain of 6, Sistrunk on the tackle, first down.
All right, how about a...
First and 10. The handoff to Morris. Has room to run. Johnson spins him down at the 9. First down. A gain of 13. Morris on the sweep, gain of 13, Johnson on the tackle, first down.
And you know, as I look at this, yay, Matt, glad to see you here. I do agree, right? Editing the names, that's something, if I'm playing more in-game and I'm using the narrator like with football, I'd really spend the time, you know, like if I set up a season as I played to get all the names right for sure. The one thing I'm noticing, though, is I don't, you know, we've got the squares here that you can highlight over, but I don't know. I'm thinking I might, if I saw like an animated or like a silhouette looking image of like a player, I might like it better than just the squares. I don't know what everybody else thinks. That could be an edit. And baseball lets you at least kind of pick the shapes and all that of the ovals or rectangles. There's not any options I can find to really change what is this square box other than having, you know, the option to have some of the skill player photos out here. All right.
First and goal from the 9.
70's Miami. Let's keep it on
Greasy
the ground.
hands to Zonka. Brought down by Sistrunk at the 7. A gain of 2. 2-yard run by Zonka, Sistrunk on the tackle.
And that guy's kind of repeating himself, so the one thing I can do under game setup, I think is sound. Let's get the comments during video instead of the post. So you can either go post play or let him make the comments during the video. So let's try that. Because it seems like he's saying it twice. All right. Now second and goal. Hey, now let me get... see if we can throw a pass in the end zone here.
Greasy fades back to pass. Short hitch to Moore. Incomplete.
Oh!
Greasy throws incomplete to Moore.
Well, we got a third down and goal here. Try to pass again.
Third and goal from the 7. Greasy at the line. Greasy back to pass. Greasy throws short, incomplete.
Got cute, should have just kept
throws
running.
Incomplete to Mandic, Tatum on the coverage.
And I agree with you, Random Human. It's smooth compared to how it used to be, but it's basically the exact same, you know, format that they're using. There's nothing. It just seems like the animations are cleaner. There's not as many weird things that happen, but yeah, it might be neat if even there were some little. You know, stick football players. The one reason why, if you're into football games, this is a must-own is because it's the deepest as far as coaching and head-to-head and all the good stuff that goes with it. The other one you need to have is second and 10 because it's a great game and probably the best value because you have all those seasons. And it's a different type of game than this. And then the other one is Pro Strategy Football. So if anybody doesn't have either of those other two, I always say get them all because they all kind of fill their own need or your own need as a gamer. And Pro Strategy Football, at least, even though it's some old school animation, it's fun and entertaining, at least watching that. And I think I might like that compared to the blocks moving around. Just thinking. Yeah, I agree, Random. The PS Pro Strategy Football, that level of animation just makes it really fun as a game to play. And I haven't done a whole lot with that since I got it last year, and I know there'll be a new one coming out here later this fall, but I really think I want to dig in there a little bit. Well, let's kick a field goal. I messed this up.
14-yard try for Yepremian. This will give them the lead. The snap from Langer. Yepremian connects from 14 yards, 71-75 Miami 3, 73-77 Oakland 0.
Well, I'm on the board.
Here's the
Tip-ball
kick from
interception
Yepremian.
really helped.
Fielded by Garrett. The kick from Yepremian is returned 27 yards by Garrett. Powell with the tackle.
I'm gonna let the CPU call some defense, but no doubt he's
Van
going to
Egan
do
with
better
the
than me.
handoff. Brought down by Stanfill at the 36. Van Egan with a gain of 2 on the play. Stanfill with the tackle.
Because this game, the way football is such a matchup and strategy head-to-head. I can tell you this, it is the hardest CPU coach of any of the games, in my opinion. I mean, I think baseball, there's a little bit of strategy that you can employ and do that. But the football game, the computer coach is tough to beat. I mean, it's a good test. Random Human, I dug in to try to create some players on there for Pro Strategy Football, and I just agree. I mean, they're kind of set on the...
from the 36. Van Egan with the handoff. Tackled by Colin at the 46. 10-yard gain by Van Egan. Colin on the tackle. First down.
What I was going to say is they have some ratings that they use, and I know a couple of the guys that did a lot of the work to create those teams, and they did a great job doing it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to distinguish maybe the players from another. So I agree. I mean, I'd like to see some of the statistical. It does a decent job of accuracy, but nowhere near, I think, what you would get in a game like this or even 2nd and 10. So I may have to start calling defense here if the computer.
End around to Branch.
Oh, they're going to do an end around.
Branch with daylight.
Oh man.
Has an opening. Scott tackles him at the 34. Branch with a gain of 20 on the play. Scott on the tackle. First down.
Let me go into, sometimes I like to get into, you start.
Timeout. 71-75 Miami.
Uh-oh. Had to call a timeout here. Let's go into just a basic.
Van Egan takes the handoff. Stanfill brings him down at the 31. 3-yard gain by Van Egan. Stanfill on the tackle.
Is this team going to want to pass 2nd and 7? Hey, let's take a chance. Play for
Stabler fades back to pass.
I called it
Short
right.
into Branch. Complete. Johnson spins him down. Stabler to Branch. Gain of 11. Johnson on the tackle. First down.
As you can see here, it's really cool. I've got them in man, and then you can click this box up and see the man-to-man matchups and start figuring out who's covering who. And if you want an individual to play them a little tighter or loose, you can do that. So, this game is so deep, and there's been so many options added over the years since. And it's been a long time since I played a head-to-head game online. I mean, I'm talking probably 10 years or more since I've done that. But this is another one if you want to get into, this is a great game for head-to-head leagues because, you're playing 16-game seasons. Baseball's tough head-to-head in a league because of the amount of games. I've done a basketball league where you had the option to do head-to-head, or you could do email your coach and apply that. But football is just such a great one to have head-to-head leagues. All right. Penalty. Flags
Penalty
down.
on the play.
False start. Offense, number 25. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Awesome. I think I'm going to key Van Egan.
Stabler drops back to
Oh,
pass.
he's going to pass, huh?
Medium into Biletnikov. Incomplete. Stabler throws incomplete to Biletnikov. Foley on the coverage. Biletnikov. Biletnikov. Biletnikov.
All right. Sounded a little weird to me. All right.
Second and 15 at the 25. Hubbard split outside. Shotgun.
Uh-oh.
Stabler drops back to pass. Short hitch to Casper. Incomplete. Stabler throws incomplete to Casper. Anderson on the coverage.
Biletnikov. Yeah, there you go. Random humans
Trips
helping
right.
me out with this.
Stabler back to pass. He checks down to Van Egan. Complete.
Oh, tackling, please.
Tackled by Bonacanti at the 21. Stabler completes the pass to Van Egan. Gain of 4. Bonacanti on the tackle.
Yeah.
Bonacanti.
Oh, yeah.
Bonacanti. 1 Iconti. Bonacanti. 1 Iconti.
That's good for now. All right, let's go for a block kick here.
28-yard try for Blanda. Guy to hold. High snap. But Guy got it down. Blanda missed from 28.
A 28-yard miss. Way to go, George. All right.
The hand off to Morris. Brought down by Johnson at the 28. Morris on the carry, no gain. Johnson on the tackle.
All right, let's do a hot sub here. Take Morris out for a minute. Oh. Dun, dun, dun. Try a screen. See what we can do.
Greasy fades deep. Screen to Keek. Incomplete. Greasy throws incomplete to Keek. Hendricks with the coverage. Kick.
All right.
3rd and 10
See
at
what
the
we got.
28. Greasy barks out the signals. Greasy fades back to pass. Greasy throws, complete.
Oh, checking this down to who?
Brought down by Villapiano. Greasy completes the pass to Kick. 6-yard gain. Villapiano on the tackle.
All right.
Seipel back in punt formation. Atkinson at the 21. 45-yard punt by Seipel, return of 1 by Atkinson.
All right.
First and 10 from the 22. Hubbard with the handoff. Tackled by Fernandez. Hubbard the ball carrier, no gain. Fernandez on the tackle. Stabler calls out the signals. Drops back to pass. Medium slant to Branch. Incomplete. Stabler passes to Branch. Incomplete. Johnson on the coverage.
I'm going to run it the way you're suggesting, Random Human, here on pre-play and synopsis. Let's try that.
Third and 10 at the 22. Stabler from the shotgun. Stabler completes the pass to Casper, gain of 4, Anderson on the tackle.
Now that's a good tip, Matt, being able to add some of the first name there too. All right, let's set up for a punt return.
Ball start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Good, let's back him up.
Guy deep in punt formation. "52-yard punt by Guy, fair catch by Lee."
And here we go. Oh, what do we got? Oh, we're showing a heavy blitz.
First and 10 at the 27. Greasy calling an audible. Zonka on the carry, no gain. Smith on the tackle.
Nice. So let's see what you're saying here. Under press box, I use play synopsis. Then under chalkboard, I only have 2 boxes checked. So pre-snap and post-play. Let's try that. Okay.
Second and 10 from the 27. Greasy shouting instructions.
Oh, get across that line.
Greasy passes to Moore, gain of 9, Thomas on the tackle. Third and 1 from the 36. Three-yard gain by Zonka, Villapiano on the tackle, first down.
So you're saying do that. Pre-snap, play synopsis, got it. All right, let's get Morris back in.
End of the first quarter, 71-75 Miami 3, 73-77 Oakland 0. First and 10 at the 39. One-yard gain by Morris, Smith with the tackle. Second and 9 from the 40.
Let's see if we can run. Uh-oh, somebody's blitzing.
Zonka with a gain of 1 on the play, Smith on the tackle. Third and 8. Greasy calling signals.
Oh, that medium cross to Warfield paid off.
Greasy completes the pass to Warfield. Touchdown 71-75 Miami.
No, I agree. Yeah, this is sounding a little less tedious, right? Let's kick that extra point and take a 10-0 lead.
The kick by Yepremian is good. 71-75 Miami 10, 73-77 Yepremian to kick off. The kick from Yepremian is returned 18 yards by Garrett. Swift with the tackle.
I'll let my defensive computer coach help
Hubbard
me
the
out
ball
here.
carrier, 3-yard gain. Stanfill on the stop.
Oh, look at this. I've never even noticed this. Quick defense that already has some things going on. Very cool. I've never noticed that before.
Stabler barks out the signals.
Uh-oh.
Stabler
Casper
passes
again.
to Casper, 14-yard gain. Anderson on the tackle, first down.
It's Key Van Egan. I've got a good feeling he's going to go to Van Egan, and he does.
Van Egan on the carry, gain of 3, Moore on the tackle. Second and 7 at the 45.
No, appreciate the tips, Random Human. That's why I was hoping people would show up to this. Hello,
Stabler
hello.
completes the pass to Violetnikov, gain
Dwayne
of 15,
Martz,
fumble
good to see
recovered
him.
by Branch. 73-77 Oakland maintains possession.
I thought I may learn something here. Some people helping me out tonight, so appreciate it.
Van Egan the ball carrier, no gain. Matheson on the tackle.
I do like the field, though. Field looks good.
Hubbard on the carry, loss of 2, Moore on the stop.
All right.
Encroachment defense.
Oh.
Number 83, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Not what I needed, but
Third and 7 at the 37.
is he going to go to Casper again? Oh, the running back. Get that guy. Oh, you're getting
Stabler to Van Egan, gain of 3, Matheson with the tackle. 41-yard try for Blanda.
He missed
Guy
from
to
28.
Good snap from Dalby. Blanda is good from 41, 71 to
Good
75
from 41,
Miami 10,
but missed the
73
28.
to 77 Oakland 3. Here's the kick from Mann. The kick from
Nice.
Mann is returned 38 yards by Moore. Mann with the tackle.
Random Human, you may know this. Is there any way to change the positions to numbers, names, anything like that? I don't know if I even saw that option when I was digging around earlier. Oh, let's go.
— 71 to 75
Kazonga.
Miami up 7. First and 10 from the 46. Zonka with a gain of 3 on the play, Smith with the tackle. Moore is doubled at the line.
Uh-oh.
Warfield faces a double at the line.
Uh-oh.
Greasy throws incomplete to Warfield, Wilson on the coverage. Third and 7 from the 49. Someone jumped.
Oh, good. Let's let it be the defense.
Morris the ball carrier, gain of 16.
Encroachment,
Tatum
defense.
on the tackle,
Number
first
80,
down.
5-yard penalty.
I'll take the carry.
Zonka on the carry, gain of 3, Atkinson on the tackle.
Let's see what I want to do here. Get by that guy.
Morris the ball carrier, gain of 5, Johnson with the tackle.
Just keep pounding it ahead.
Third and 2. Atkinson in the box. Zonka with a gain of 19 on the play, Tatum on the tackle, first down.
So under field display, you can use uniform, position, ratings, or change. Oh, there we go. Uniform numbers. Try that out. Thanks for the tip. And change the font size. Nice.
First and goal from the 8.
All right.
Morris the ball carrier, touchdown 71-75 Miami. Yepremian converts the extra point, 71-75 Miami 17, 73-77 Oakland 3. The kick from Yepremian is downed by Garrett.
All right, let's see if we can stop them.
71-75 Miami showing blitz. Van Egan on the carry, no gain, Matheson on the tackle. Second and 10 at the 20. 71-75 Miami showing blitz.
Okay.
Stabler completes the pass to Van Egan, gain of 12, Matheson on the tackle, first down.
So to speed up some things a little bit, I'm going to zoom ahead to the end of the third quarter. See what we got. Ooh, and the Dolphins are laying it on. So I've noticed this too is something I hadn't noticed because I haven't played a lot in previous editions. If you've got a formation here, it gives you a nice warning here. If you don't have the right matchups.
Third and 16.
Boy.
Stabler passes to Siani, Gain of 27, Anderson on the tackle, first down.
So since this one's a little out of hand, I'm going to finish this one. Just set it to computer, do its stuff, and let's take a look at this box. 20-point win for this team. Let's see who had a good game. Well, Morris, 144 yards, 7.2 a carry. That's a pretty good day with 2 touchdowns. Greasy with a 122 rating, 7 of 15, but he threw 2 touchdowns. He had that one to Warfield. Actually 2. So Morris has 2 touchdowns, Warfield 2. Not a great day by Stabler, the 44 rating with 3 picks. He was putting the ball up quite a bit. Van Egan, not bad for the few carries he had. See, on defense, what do we get? There's 3 interceptions. Any sacks out there? No sacks in the game. Pretty odd right there. So anyway, it's fun. I had not sat down and just started getting some gameplay and getting it set up to figure out how I wanted to select different options to play. So what I've realized is every iteration of action, it seems like there's just so many different options when it comes to play calling and how you want to set the screen up. So I'm going to have fun with that. The next thing I'm going to do is start alternating like I am between baseball and basketball and going into finishing some of these 5-year franchise teams, because that was really been the last several years my format that I've been following, right? Taking, there's some team identity rather than having an all-star team for a franchise where they're spread out. This resembles maybe a great team from those 5 years, right? It just has much more of a familiarity. And I've really loved doing that 5-year project, and I applied it to football, baseball, and basketball, and even started hockey. I think I only got 4 or 5 teams done for hockey. So what's cool is when I get bored, I'll bounce over to one and start working on a project, or then over to the other. So, it just got me thinking about the football game. I said, hey, I got the new edition. And then I went in and messed around with it for about an hour and did some tests on this file, but had not really played a game looking at it. I will say that the video is as smooth as it's been, but I agree with what Random Human said, that we really need, it'd be nice to see them really start incorporating some more animation style graphics, even if they were the quality of like Pro Strategy Football. I think that would be cool. Or at least if they came out with that and you had an option to go with the regular video chalkboard, or click it and have the chalkboard, look like little player images. I mean, to me, that seems like that's probably something that could be a little doable, right? So, yeah, I agree. You cannot go wrong with APC games. The other thing, and I remember this from years ago, and I had a buddy of mine that we were playing head to head with. This game is just great head to head. It just sets up well for that, and it's really good for a league. I was in a league one time in a head to head league, and really you've just got to commit a couple hours once a week. So it's not like where you've got baseball and you got, oh man, I got 2-3 game series to get done this week. It's just so difficult to run a head-to-head league with any of the other sports because of the number of games. So fun stuff. So I think I'm going to add this back in the mix, and then I can rotate from basketball, football, back and forth. The other thing I downloaded is I've had this new computer now for a few months I've been using, and I'm going to fire up 2nd and 10 again because I enjoy playing 2nd and 10 as well. And I haven't downloaded that on this new computer. So having fun with this, but some interesting teams on here. When I remember when I was creating some of these, I've got some of the old AFL. I haven't done an early Boston Patriot yet, but here's a 60-64 Houston team with Blanda at quarterback for them back in the day, and some cool skill players here. You don't Billy Cannon there. So it's been fun. Like anything, it's like when I'm doing these projects, it's fun research to go in there and take a look at some of these old teams. Here's a Frank Gifford, 59 to 63 Giant team with Y.A. Tittle. So really cool. And again, with all the game, this is the first time I've paid attention to it really in football. But when you look at, just like in baseball and basketball, you take a look at their era average and see how they are. And, Y.A. Tittle, he definitely doesn't have the same numbers current players do, but hey, he's above average on completion percentage when you take a look at the era he's assigned to. So he's based off 1962, assigned to that year. But always cool to look at this. And then some good comparison numbers here. So always fun to look at the ratings. Interesting. Taking a look at cool. You can hit, if you play them tired, click play tired, and you can see how they get degraded here. So this is pretty fun. I haven't dug into really looking at the ratings even after I've created some of these players. And here's Del Schaffner. Receiving average is going to be above average. Take a look at my take a look at Cleveland here with Jim Brown. You can see, yeah, his rush average pretty darn good there at 141, about 41% over average. And let's take a look at that compared to like a Barry Sanders here, and yeah, pretty close, just a couple points behind Jim Brown. So it's fun. Now I'll be going down this rabbit trail. 2007, New England is tough too. Exactly. Let's take a look at that team I've got, or the closest one I've got to them. I haven't done a current New England one. I have data crunch from it. I haven't done a new one yet. But yeah, let's take a 62 to 66 is the run for Green Bay. We can take a look at Bart Starr here. Great rushing average on that, above average completion percentage. You got Jim Taylor, 1,200 yards based off of 14 games. So it's a good team. O-line, you got 2 10s. Defense, you got Herb Adderley, Ray Nitschke at linebacker. And what other teams do we want to see? Yeah, 62 is a good team. Trying to think. I did this team being a Lion fan. I had to have a Billy Sims team in there. Well, not a great year, but I got Billy Sims I can play with here, which is always fun. And then I have an early Lions team as well, 69 to 73 with Greg Landry and Steve Owens on there. That was a fun one to do. But yeah, these are, man, if I could add up all the hours I've spent on these projects, because this one has been one where, I mean, again, because you're having to card 50-ish players on each roster, so it does take some time, and I can get cranking out on my Excel sheets, but see what other teams are interesting here. Here's another one I did. And I thought, hey, how about an Atlanta team with Bartkowski? So I've got one of those there. Steve Bartkowski. I think you've even got the Burt Jones. If I've created them yet? Yeah, 75 to 79 Baltimore with Lydell Mitchell and Burt Jones as a quarterback. So it's interesting, if we take a look at this file, I guess I could pull up the database and we can just take a look at, there may be some definitely doppelgangers here that qualify for both. Let's take a look at defense. Who are the highest rated defense players? You can see there's several 10s on here. Deacon Jones is up there. Top 5 in stopping the run right there. Lester Hayes and Herb Adderley look like they have the highest pass defense ratings here. Rush ratings at Deacon Jones. Lawrence Taylor up there, Al Bubba Baker. And let's take a look at expanded rushing. We can take a look at, and that's listed in total yards right there, that list, but of all the players I've got built in based on their best 2 straight years. Early 50s Cleveland's and the Rams are good. Yeah, I don't have a Ram team yet with Crazy Legs Hirsch on it, or an early 50s team. And yeah, that defense is really good. In fact, I'll go pull them up and take a look at it. Let's take a look at expanded receiving. Jerry Rice with the most yards when it comes to receptions. Jerry Rice is there. Let's take a look at those 80. Oh, this is a fun Bear team too. Got this Bear team with Wade and Bukich on here, and then you've got Gale Sayers. See what he looks like on return data. Pretty good, I think. Yeah, 2 touchdowns. 1 touchdown in the books here for punt returns, and 2 for in 22 kickoff returns. So definitely explosive on this team. Take a look at defense. You got Butkus, Doug Atkins. Now I'm getting back into them, remembering whenever I get bored and I go to a project, how much fun I have doing the research and everything. Got 2 Los Angeles teams close here. Got this 73-77 team with Jack Youngblood, right? The mismatch of quarterbacks that they had in the early and mid 70s here, right? No real designated quarterback standing out. And then this 67-71 team with Roman Gabriel. And some great defensive line here with Merlin Olsen, Lundy, and Coy Bacon, Deacon Jones. Oh, this one I've actually got the player cards done too. I've only got about 5 teams that I actually have all the templates done for in football. 78-82 Tampa Bay. Interesting, fun team to put in there when they were halfway decent. Got a couple playoff wins under their belt back then. And here's another. So I've got 2 Baltimore teams. I've got a 64, kind of a mid 60s there. Of course, with Unitas on it and Matt. But we've got, then I put together one from 57 to 61. Another version of Unitas. Offensive lineman. We got a defense. So yeah, some good memories as. Did you do 74-79 Pittsburgh? Oh yeah, I did. 75-79 are the 5 straight years I used. There's Bradshaw. Running backs. Let's see, receivers. Offensive line. Of course, you got Mike Webster as a standout there. John Kolb, another All-Pro. On defense, on the line, great defensive line, great linebacker. I mean, that defense, look how many like 9s and 10s that are sitting around there. You got Greenwood and Green here. You got Lambert and Ham, and then we go to the defensive backs, and you got Shell and Wagner at 9s at the safety and Blunt at a 10. So that's pretty solid defensive team. Team I enjoyed watching from the AFC for sure. I always liked Miami in the AFC because that was the first Super Bowl I remember watching, was Miami against the Redskins. And I do have that Redskin 71-75 group. Kilmer and Jurgensen, Ken Houston, Chris Hanberger. So yeah, just fun. I enjoy really doing the research. You can see on a lot of these teams, I also went through and started doing something I hadn't done with many of the games a couple years ago, and that is putting the uniform home and away there for that year, and then a coach photo. The other thing you can, if you aren't aware, is edit under modified team. Under information, you can assign them there. What I did is I put in their real stats based on the 5 years I'm using, and I added up the average points or an opponent points for those 5 years. So that's kind of a nice, I guess, gauge to have in there if you're interested in that stuff. And then, of course, I changed all these to draft since they're all from, even though many of them came from the same team, they're not an intact team. So it's using their ratings a little bit different way than it does on the stock team. And the other thing you can do, and I spent some time last year doing this stuff with this here under graphics, is go in here and assign the logo you want to use. Again, there's your coach photo, your home and road stuff. I haven't done any TD music yet, but I had assigned some of these. Now I'm going to be looking for some different photos. I can tell you, like this 1972, of course, in 72, let's see what Dallas is. Yeah, they're probably playing at the Cotton Bowl or something. I don't know, when did they open Texas Stadium? But you can see some of the quality of these 1972 ones. Really nice. So I like some of these that I've been using in the game, but I'm now on the quest, like I do with baseball, to update all that good stuff. Random wants to see 79-83 San Diego. You bet. I know I've got them. What years did I end up picking? Because sometimes I had difficulty figuring out which 5 years it was going to be. You got to be kidding me. Oh, right here, 78-82. That's ended up being for some reason I went 78, probably evaluated the difference between 83 and 88 and went for it. And here's Chuck Muncie, great running back in that system, and wide receivers is great because, oh, I got I got Jefferson in there. So you got the 3,000 yarders with those years I use. So you got Jefferson, Joyner, and Chandler, and now you throw in Winslow, another 1,000 yarder at tight end. So look at Dan Fouts, big time numbers there for those 2 years. On defense, got Gary Johnson there, Fred Dean, Louis Kelcher, Lowe. Defense is okay. Offensive line, they got Ed White, who came over from Minnesota. Doug Wilkerson's there. Russ Washington. Yeah, and still have Fred Dean. So the other thing I've done now that we have all those nice sack data and all that good stuff, that helps out. So all these teams are incorporating the new research sack data, which has been great actually for a lot of the projects I do. 76-80 Cleveland. Here's an interesting one, right? Brian Sipe. You got the Pruitt brothers, both at 1,000+ yards, Mike and Greg, in those 5 years. Receivers, yeah, halfway decent, right? You got a young Ozzie Newsome there. That's a fun team. The Dallas team, this is a good one too. Good Staubach. Got Dorsett and Newhouse in there. Offensive line solid. Defensive line solid with Harvey Martin, Too Tall Jones, Randy White, and Pugh. When you look at ratings, that's to me that's as far as front line, they can match up with like a Pittsburgh's front line, right? Or that great front line with the late '60s Rams. Linebacker, there's Hollywood Henderson. Defensive backs, Cliff Harris stands out at a 10. So yeah, been fun just kind of going down memory lane with this disc. Oh, here's another one. Late Cincinnati with Boomer, that quarterback or that Super Bowl run they had. One game, right? 89 was it? So I've got that team in here. So many more teams to get done. Buffalo, you'll notice the record here, right? I was pretty much saying, man, I want to have teams with winning records. But then I thought, look, why do I need a rule like that? I definitely wanted to have a Billy Sims Detroit team. They're 7-9 during that run. I still built them. And how can you have a league like this and not have OJ with Buffalo? Well, they're 6-8 in the run. So I went ahead and did them. And so here they go. And you can tell, I think it's one of the few teams that average less points than they gave up for their 5-year run. But hey, do you want to have fun with OJ? See if you can win with him? There he is. I'm trying to think if there's any, and I ended up doing that with baseball, right? You get done with a lot of the obvious winning teams that stand out. And then you're like, what are some other interesting ones that would be cool to play in a 5-year run? And so you'll see there's some of the newer ones I did. I did a Carolina team here with Cam Newton. And I did a Seattle run here with Russell Wilson from 12 to 16. So I have done a couple of the newer teams. 94 to 98 Green Bay with Brett Favre. So I'm working my way into the closer to 2000 and newer. John Brody, San Francisco team here. 03 to 07, Matt Hasselbeck Seahawk team. That's kind of fun. And then who's the other one I have over here? Yeah, I've got Baltimore, 2008 to 12 with Joe Flacco. Ray Lewis, who's high-rated linebacker there. So fun stuff. So hey, appreciate everybody hanging out and talking some football because I think I've really ever done anything on football other than maybe mention the fact that I had this 5-year file. I'll tell you the other thing with football. Let me see if I have it. I did I think I have a 70s and 80s that I did years ago. Okay. I've got an 80s, 1970s best. This has got to be it. So I did a 1970s best, which won't even load up. For some odd reason. See if I can get it to change. How about 1980s best? Football 1960s. Did I ever do anything? I started a 60s all time. Well, you know what? Let me just start the game up. I don't know why it's not firing up these seasons. Yep, no teams yet. I was going to get ready to do a 60s version. But 1970s best. And here it is. So what I did with this is I took any player that played between 19, see, for the 70s, it would have been 69 and 71. And I took their best 3 years and averaged those to card them. So let's take a look at Pittsburgh here. And you'll see, and then they're assigned to the middle years. So like Bradshaw here, signed to 79. So this is using 78, 79, and 80 as his 3 years. defense guaranteed. Green's probably a little earlier. Yeah, he's using 72, 73, 74. So I can kind of tell because I knew my methodology was taking their best 3 straight years during that decade. And since 69, 70, and 71 could be averaged, and 2 of the 3 were in the 70s, the people that played 69, 70, and 71 were included in this, as well as people that played 78, 79, and 80, because they would qualify on this file. So this is a little bigger than the other one. Sometimes there's like 60-ish players on here because I think I carded everybody that qualifies and then rated them. So this is a fun project. I think this actually has a schedule built in, so you can play it right out of the box. So this was a fun one. And if we let's take a look at the database. Well, you can see right here, Anderson. Well, let me just look at the front screen. Passing rating for the 70s greatest. I mean, Ken Anderson was a great passer rating and accuracy back in the 70s. And I think sometimes he's overlooked during that era, right? Burt Jones up there, but that's how they rank out for this file. Of course, OJ. What I did here, you'll see, is that 2,028 yards. Why is it so high? Because since I went ahead on this file and extrapolated out everybody's stats to a 16-game season. So I'm pretty sure if we go under rules, yeah, season length 16 games. That's why you're seeing his 3 years averaged and then extrapolated out. And where's my other one? 1980s. Oh, 1980s franchise best. Have a same file for the 80s. And that's how the ratings came out right there. So a best of. In fact, while everybody's still hanging out, what I may do is, let me take a look at the schedule. I'm pretty sure I got a schedule. Yep. 16-week schedule. Let's look at generate default coaches, default depth chart. Let's just have some fun with this, and then let's run a sim and see what's the best franchise in the 80s. I don't know if anybody's got any guess if we run a sim in the 1980s, getting to take a player's best 3 years that qualifies. And I can't even remember if I've run this, who would do good. Now I'm going to imagine San Francisco with Joe Montana and Rice, Roger Craig. I imagine they're going to be good. So let's see what happens. Play schedule. Let's play all games. Shouldn't take too long. See how things go and see how it sims out. We've got Dallas is 2-0. Houston 2-0. Chicago. Yep, Chicago might be tough right in the mid 80s with that defense. Let's see. Who will jump out ahead? Best of the 80s. Headed into week 5. What do we got here? Kind of watching the, no doubt, Earl Campbell would be up at the top. Dickerson. Always tough in a replay to kind of look at how the players are used when you've got a bench that's deeper than a normal season roster. When you've got some cases where you've got 2, 3 starting running backs in a decade there. Figuring out if the coach and I know you can get in there and tweak a lot of the tendencies, but it'd be interesting to see here how the coach uses it. Do they take the one with the most carries and really stick to them, and then the other ones are part time, or do you take two that are 1,200-yard rushers and just split carries between them? So it's always interesting when I do this to see how the computer chooses to rotate folks or not rotate them, some of the players in. But I gotta, it's one of the things I've learned on baseball this last year is there's so many nuances to getting in and tweaking the settings on how the computer manager applies logic and depth and target, real life type of stuff. So let's see, going into week 10, who stands out? Well, Washington Redskins are 9-0. I would not have guessed that. The Chicago Bears are 9-1. Again, defense is probably carrying them. Let's look at defensive stats and see how we're doing here. And I do remember with my 70s file that I did move everybody to that 16 game season format. And I think I'm using the 78 schedule if I can remember building that. 12 weeks in, Washington, Chicago, now 10-2. So Chicago was undefeated. Now they're losing games. New York, the Jets are in first over Miami. That is a little surprising. Denver really struggling. Raiders and San Diego battling it out west. Couple weeks to go here. Lawrence Taylor and Dexter Manley up there in sacks. That's not surprising. This game always produces just really what I call good, believable results. Frank Minifield going to town there on pass deflections. Take a look at any special stats. Anybody? Matt Barr leading in field goal percentage. 58-yarder is the longest one on the season. Here we go. Last week, all games have now been played. So, interesting. Definitely a Miami-New York tie. Cleveland and Houston tied. San Diego walks away with the West. That's pretty surprising. The Redskins in the 80s. The 80s weren't kind to Dallas. Especially as we got past about 1981. So, interesting. So let's take a look at let's go take a look at a team here. Let's take a look at Washington, 14-2. Maybe we'll just look at team. Let's just go to team stats. Let's take a look at Washington. Make sure I got it on replay. Let's go to replay. So you can see, here's what I'm talking about. You got Riggins and Rogers that are both 1,000 yards rushers. Let's see how this game handled it. Well, it went with Riggins, and I'm going to guess it defaulted to he had more attempts. So it looks like it fed him the ball. And Rogers, played some kind of a backup role. Get Theismann, not a great rating. Always fun to see this, right? The quarterback analysis where it breaks down their performance on the different types of throws, some of the penalties. Receiving, salaries, always fun stuff to dig through here after you run a sim and dig through the reports to see what stands out. And let's look at San Diego. Well, let me go into team reports and do that. Team stats. Let's take a look at San Diego. Real, you can see, look at these receivers. So you got 3 1,000-yard receivers plus a tight end. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Now I'm thinking of my 5-year franchise. 3 with Joyner, Winslow, and Wes Chandler. So replay, what did they get? Well, not bad. Winslow goes over 1,000. Chandler and Joyner kind of share some of that load with a few other players. Muncie gets over 1,000 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns compared to real life where he got 15, so that's pretty good. The other thing with football is you can see some differences in performance in that for sure, because I've noticed with those that you can get to a point where you've only got 16 games or 14 depending on the season, so you can have quite a variation um, just because of that. So fun stuff there. San Francisco, they were 13-3. For real, you've got Wendell Tyler, almost 1,000 yards. Roger Craig, and in the replay, of course, Craig, they lean on him, and Tyler gets a little bit of a backup role. So Montana, real rating 95, and in the replay, he outdid himself, about the same amount of yards, but much more efficient. Take a look at Miami. I think real Marino averaging 41 touchdowns for those 3 years, and yeah, 99.1 on the rating, so he was pretty spot on. They only finished 9-7. So fun stuff. So let me change the season back. Well, let me do this before I forget. Always can go to tools and reset. Excuse me. So let me grab the 70s and let's run default depth chops and default coaches. Run that. And let's play this 70s. See who's the best franchise of the 70s with this approach. Going 16 games based off the 1978 season when they went to that. So it's kind of fun seeing how those early 70s players would do if they got those 2 extra games, especially OJ. Let's see what we get here. Going into week 3, we got the Eagles. I'm trying to think who's going to stand out in the 70s. Guaranteed Pittsburgh should, right? Oakland, Dallas, Minnesota to some degree. Miami, a little bit of a, they're great in the first half of the 70s, kind of tapered off in the late 70s. So looks like Joe Namath is leading the way for the Jets. Chuck Foreman, always love watching him run. Let's see who wins the 70s league. So take a look at defensive stats here. Merlin Olsen leading in hurries. What do you got? Tom Jackson for the Broncos, 6 sacks. Special teams. Oh, Jan Stenerud with this 56-yard field goal already. It's a long one from the 70s. 101-yard kickoff return. Let's go back to offense. Oh, Mark Van Eegen leading OJ in the rushing yardage. Franco Harris moving his way up there. Several people hitting 1,000 yards after just 11 weeks. It looks like we take a look at receiving yards, right? A lot lower. Very run-oriented coaching approaches here with these 70s team. You can tell already. Going into almost week 14 here, and we've only got one receiver over 1,000. And interestingly enough, it's J.D. Hill from Buffalo. Detroit in the 80s, 8-6. They had a decent team early on, 70 to 73-ish. Wow, look at St. Louis, 12-2. Mel Gray, Terry Metcalf, Jim Otis, Jim Hart. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh fighting it out here. See a big game here for Cincinnati and San Francisco. And Cincinnati pulls ahead. So now we've got all the games. Unbelievable that Cincinnati in the 70s won the Central. Baltimore edged Miami. Unbelievable. None of the Miami running backs that were so down, Morris and Kazonka. Let's take a look and see how this turned out. Leaders, yeah, Anderson and Tarkenton no doubt were the most efficient passers along with Jones up there, but Jim Hart's way up there. Simpson rushes for 2,000 yards. Nice. Ken Riley gets 9 picks. Ted Hendricks with 14 sacks. We got Minnesota with the power rankings. So let's take a look at Minnesota. Team stats. Chuck Foreman had a big year. Look at it, 358 attempts. So they really just ran the ball a ton. See what happened to Miami. So Miami did get 2,000-yard rushers, but didn't equate to wins. It's always fun stuff to, I hadn't run these files in quite a while just to do that. And sometimes it's fun to run them and then run them again and see if you get any different result, because, you can get in here and start tweaking these. We look at Minnesota, for example, and start looking at depth charts and, figuring out how you want to manage these and apply some of the coaching, the game plan and all that good stuff, and maybe see if the outcome's a little bit different. Oh, looks like I got some photos done for San Francisco. The Broncos. Anyway, it's been fun. Appreciate everybody hanging out for a while, but enjoyed coming on, doing something different. I know there might not be as many football fans out there, maybe with some of our baseball group, but it's definitely been kind of fun just switching it up a little bit. So appreciate everybody coming in and watching this. And who knows? I'll be back here in another week or so with whatever um, my brain focuses on, right? If it's going to be a football, baseball, basketball. I am looking forward to Action PC Basketball. It'll be out on the 16th of August. I definitely plan on, if not that night, the next night, coming on and just doing like a virtual unboxing like I did for baseball, and just digging into it. I've been playing a lot of that in the last couple of months with that basketball project I'm doing. I've really come to like the video chalkboard with the basketball. It's just kind of fun to follow the ball and watch the movement. It's actually enjoyable. I used to just watch text on there, and I really didn't care for the animation. And now that I've really given it a try, I really like it. So I'm looking forward to see if that's cleaned up. And I do know that they have the new like highlight the card over the player and a few other things. So looking forward to that. So appreciate everybody coming out here tonight, and I'll see you down the road.